Yes. So very good morning to all of you. Yes, very good morning. Chalo. We are going to start with the structural organizations of animals. Which part? Especially the part which was left, Tushar. The part which was left was connective. Bones over.
Bones
একটু বাকি আছে কোনটা বাকি আছে আমাদের স্কেলেটাল সিস্টেমটা কমপ্লিটলি হয়নি আমার জাস্ট অনলি বোনের আইডিয়া দিয়েছিলাম আমরা সো জাস্ট উই উইল স্টার্ট ফ্রম বোনস আজকে বোন করব ব্লাড ইজ ওভার আই থিংক ব্লাড ইজ ওভার তাহলে বোনটা হ্যাঁ সো bone. Achha, the study of bone is osteology. All of you know that. Osteology. Now, bone is called as the calcium storage organ. It is called as the calcium storage organ of the body. So it stores what? It stores calcium. Main content of this bone is made up of what? Calcium, Ca3PO4 whole twice. Calcium phosphate. 80% of the bone is made up of calcium phosphate. 80% of the bone is made up of calcium phosphate. Rest are other salts. Like calcium carbonate is some of the content is calcium carbonate even. Now, when we talk about bone is called as the calcium storage organ. So, body te jokhoni amader calcium lagbe, so there is a reabsorption of calcium from the bone. And it is done by the hormone. Can you tell me the name of the hormone which can help in the reabsorption of calcium? Parathormone. I think you have also heard about another hormone called calcitonin. Yes, we are going to talk about all those in endocrine system. So, now this particular bone, if you just see, bone, it increases in size from both the sides, from this side and this side. So they increase in size from the extremities. So we call this condition as diaphysis. Clear? Now, see, normally we know that inside the bone, there are bone marrow. These are the two bone marrow that we have already talked about in blood. This is red bone marrow. This is red bone marrow. And this lateral side is white bone marrow. It contains white bone marrow. Now, when we cut the section of the bone, this is the external part of the bone which is called as periosteum. The outermost covering of the bone is called periosteum. And then this part to this part is called compact bone. This is called compact bone. And this compact bone is rigid and it contains the calcium deposition. Okay? Now, inside this, there is a spongy tissue. What is this? This is spongy bone. And this spongy bone contains blood vessels. Okay? Now, this is the major difference between bone and cartilage. In cartilage, there is a homogeneous mixture. There is no such differentiation of compact and spongy. Tamane, inside cartilage, there is no such blood vessels present. Spongy bone kintu nei inside cartilage. So I think we are yet to complete cartilage, right? Yes? Over. So we have talked about cartilage. Okay, fine. So these are the blood vessels present. And these blood vessels, you can see, they are present in the lateral part of the bone. Kire bone er majkhane eta jodi spongy hoy tale spongy ei blood vessels gulo ki kore in the compact bone there are some concentric circles like this, and these concentric circles are nothing but Haversian canal system. We call this as a Haversian canal system, and this Haversian canal system is a unique feature. Haversian canal system is the unique feature of all mammalian bone. So it's a unique feature of all mammalian bone. Okay? Now, each canal, these canal called Haversian canal. Between two Haversian canal, you can see there is a structure which is called as lamellae. It's called lamellae. And this lamellae contains what? This lamellae contains three types of cells. Tell me the name of the cells. The first cell is called osteocyte cell. What is the meaning of cyte? Cyte means it has come from the term cytology. That means cyte means cells and osteo means bone, so they are bone cells. The second type of bone cells are osteoblast cell. Blast means what? Nourishment cell. So they are bone nourishing cells. Osteoblast cells are bone nourishing cells. There's another type of cells which are called as osteoclast cell. Osteoclast cell. And what are osteoclast cells? They are bone destroying cells. So what they can do is the dead cells of the bones, they clean those cells. Osteoclast cells, they are the bone cleaners. তার মানে যখন একটা বোন সেলস মারা যাবে তখন ওটাকে ক্লিন করবে। Fine, osteoclast cells, so they are bone destroying cells, or we can call it bone cleaners. So these cells are very, very important and they are present inside the lamellae. Now, two of the Haversian canal, they connect within themselves by another canal which is called as Haversian canal. So sorry, which are called Volkmann's canal. Which are called Volkmann's canal. Volkmann's canal. Okay, Volkmann's canal. Okay, so this is the transverse section of a bone. Periosteum, what is it? What kind of connective tissue is periosteum? It's dense. What kind of fibers or fibers? What kind of fibers? Collagen or elastin? They are made up of collagen, that means white fibers, and they are dense or irregular. Dense regular or dense irregular?
Dense irregular.
Irregular. So all the outer lining of the organs, like pleura, the outer covering of the lungs, like pericardium, the outer covering of the heart, all of them are made up of white fibers called collagens, and periosteum is one of them. Also perichondrium is also a type of dense irregular white fibers, that is collagen fibers. So this is the transverse section of a bone called. Okay, now when we talk about the bone, we need to study about the skeletal system. We need to study about the skeletal system. So in our skeletal system, how many bones we do have? 206 bones. And out of 206 bones, if we classify them, we can broadly classify them into axial skeletal system and appendicular skeletal system. Appendicular skeletal system. When we talk about axial skeletal system, that means the main axis of the body. Say for example, if this is the body of human being, fine, this is the body of human being. The main axis is this axis. So all the organs present on the main axis. So this is the longitudinal axis. All the organs which are present on the main axis. So what comes first is the head, then the thorax, and at the back there is a vertebral column. That means when we talk about the axial skeletal system, we are talking about those organs which lie in the main axis, and those are three parts of the body. One is head, the second one is vertebral column, and the third one is thorax. So clear? And when we talk about appendicular skeletal system, all those organs which comes at a 90 degree to this axis, that means his hand, that means the limbs. If this person makes the split, fine, okay, split. So this is again 90 degree. So this is one, this legs will come under this, the legs will come under this, the hand, and also there is a girdle called pelvic girdle. In the hand there is a pectoral girdle. So that means in appendicular skeletal system, we need to talk about girdles. We talk about girdles and limbs. Girdles and limbs. Is this clear? So if we just classify 206 bones, in the axial skeletal system only, there are 80 bones present. And appendicular skeletal system consists of 126 bones. Together it makes 206 bones. Now, let us start with the first one called axial skeletal system in the next page. when we talk about the head portion of the axial skeletal system, the head contains 8 bones. The head contains?
8 bones.
No. The head contains 29 bones. In head, the first one which is there is skull. In skull, how many bones are there? There are 8 bones in the skull. 8 bones are there. And we know about the skull bones that they are immovable joints. They are also called as fibrous joints. They are also called as fibrous joints. So skull bone, there are 8 of them. Then face, inside face, there are 14 bones. Then in the ear, there are 3 bones in the ear in one ear. So in 2 ears, 6 bones. Ear means we are talking about malleus, malleus, incus, and stapes. Malleus, incus, and stapes. Out of this malleus, incus, and stapes, the stapes is called as the smallest bone. The stapes is called as the smallest bone. Okay. And the last one is hyoid. The last one is hyoid bone. There's only one bone called hyoid which holds the tongue. Which holds the tongue. It's present over here which holds the tongue. And it controls the movement of the tongue. Now, so if you just add them, it comes 29. So 29 bones are there inside head. Now, when we talk about skull bone, we can also break the skull bone into 8 different parts. And if we want to make it, the skull bone at this part, the frontal part, there's only one bone called frontal bone. So frontal bone is 1. Frontal bone is 1. And at the back over here is called occipital bone. Only one bone called occipital bone is 1. Okay, just next to the frontal, if you come across over here, these 2 parts, lateral to this frontal part, is called temporal. It's called temporal. So 2 bones are there as temporal bone. So temporal bone are 2 of them. Then there are 2 of them just next to it. These 2 sides are parietal bone, which are also 2 in number. The next one is sphenoid. Is only one bone. And why sphenoid is important? Tushar will tell me. Very, very good. Sphenoid bone, there is a depression inside sphenoid bone, and the depression is called sella turcica. Inside this depression, the pituitary gland houses it. So the location of pituitary gland is sphenoid bone, and the depression of the sphenoid bone is called sella turcica. The depression of the bone is called sella turcica, where the pituitary gland lies. And the last one is called ethmoid. It is also one bone called ethmoid. So that makes 8 bone inside skull bone, inside skull. So what is so important about skull bone? That the skull bone are called fibrous joints because they are immovable joints. They are made up of white fibers and they are attached within themselves. They are also called as sutures because the bones, if you just see in the diagram, the bones looks like this. So they have got sutures. So in one suture there is another bone which gets stuck. Clear? So these structures are called sutures. So that's why the bones are called as, the skull bone are also called as sutura. They're also called as sutura. So when we talk about the facial bones, there are 14 bones inside face. So when we talk about the 14 bones, let's break it down. Though it is not required, just for the sake of understanding. Fine? Face. When we talk about face, the first bone which we talk about face is, say, lacrimal. Lacrimal. How many of them? 2. Then nasal. Nasal bone. Nasal bone 2. Then there is zygomatic bone. Zygomatic bone, which is also called as beauty bone. Zygomatic bone are 2 of them. Then there are 2 of them are called maxilla. Maxilla, 2 of them. The same maxilla you have seen in the same maxilla you have seen in cockroach. In the mouth parts of cockroach, there were 2 maxilla present, 1 mandible present. So even in human, we have got 1 mandible. There's 1 mandible which is called as the lower jaw. 1 mandible which is called the lower jaw. Then there is 1 bone called vomer. Vomer 1. Then inferior nasal concha. So there are 2 of them. Inferior nasal concha. Nasal concha. There are 2 of them. Just counted 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 2 of them. 2 of them. Nasal, zygomatic, maxilla, mandible. vomer, inferior nasal concha, and so orbital, lacrimal, nasal, zygomatic maxilla, mandible, vomer, inferior nasal, concha, and what? What is the next two? No, ethmoid bone is there in the skull. Ethmoid bone is not there in your book, I think.
No, it's given. Ethmoid.
No, ethmoid is a part of the skull. Ethmoid is a part of the lacrimal, eyes, nasal, two. Zygomatic bone. So there are two of them. Maxilla up there. Palatine. Two of the palatine bones. Upper palate. Come on, palatine bones. Two of them palatine. Fine. So that makes 14 bones. That makes 14 bones. Clear? So that makes totally 29 bones over there in the head region. When we talk about vertebral column, so next one what? Next one is vertebral column. You can see. So this is 29 bones out here inside head. Now in vertebral column, how many bones are there? So let's find it out. When we talk about vertebral column, there's a formula called C7, T12, L5, S1 under bracket 5, coccyx 1 under bracket 4. So 4 of them fuse to become 1, 5 of them fuse to become 1. So we are not going to add this bracket ones. So 7 plus 12, 19, 20, 21 and 6 and 5 is 26 bones. So C for cervical bone. There are 7 of them. And out of the cervical, the first 2 bones are called atlas and axis. The first 2 bones are C1 and C2. The first one is atlas, and the second one is axis. Atlas and axis are the 2 bones, C1 and C2. And these are the atlas and axis. This is the best example of a joint. Do you remember the joint? Pivot joint. Okay, pivot joint. Okay. The T for what? T for thoracic. Thoracic. So how many bones are there in the thoracic vertebrae? There are 12 bones are there. And mind you, while helping you understand about ribs, we are also going to talk about the 12 thoracic bones. Okay, so there are 12 pairs of ribs and there will be the 12 parts of the thoracic bones. What is the L stands for? L stands for lumbar. So how many bones are there in the lumbar?
5.
5 bones are there in the lumbar. What is S stands for? Sacral, S. And then coccyx. How many of them? 1. So now see, this is L5 and this is S1. L5 and S1. Between L5 and S1, there is a nerve which comes out to your legs. Fine. If there has been some compression in between L5 and S1, the nerves gets compressed and there is a numbness sensation which occurs in the legs of your grandmother or grandfather or the aged person who is there in your home. And this nerve is called as a sciatica nerve. This nerve is called sciatic nerve. And the pain that this kind of sensation that the person is having is sciatica pain. Got the point? So there has to be some gap present, and due to the compression of this L5 and S1, the nerves gets compressed and there is a pain which comes out. Clear? And the pain, there's a tingling pain which occurs and sometimes numbness occurs inside the legs region. Starts from the hip region and it innervates deep inside the legs. So this is vertebral column. 26 bones are there. 26 bones are there. So let's talk about this. So in vertebral column, how many bones are there? 26 bones. Let us talk about thorax. So when we talk about thorax, in thorax, there are 2 types of bones present. One is ribs, and there are 12 pairs. 12 pairs of ribs. And there is only one called sternum, one bone called sternum, which is also called as breastbone. So what happens if this is the breastbone? Fine, this is the breastbone only, what called sternum. At the back, what is present? Vertebral column is present at the back. This is the front side, this is the back side. So this is the vertebral column present. So it starts from T1 to T12. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is T12. So what happens from each thorax, from each thoracic vertebrae, a pair of ribs comes out from there and makes a semicircular canal, makes a semicircle and joins straight away with the breastbones. Okay, now if the rib bone starts from the thorax and meets directly with the sternum, we call those bones as true ribs. So when we talk about ribs, we can classify them into true ribs first. So what are true ribs? The ribs which can join directly with the sternum. So right from T1 to T7, 7 pairs are true ribs. 7 pairs are true ribs. So 7 pairs are true ribs. The next one is what? The next one is called false ribs. So when we talk about false ribs, what are they? Basically, they originate from T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7. So right from T8, T9, and T10. These 3 ribs, they never get directly attached with the sternum, but they're going to join with a cartilage, and this cartilage joins directly with the sternum. So the bone is not directly linked with the sternum, but these are the 3 pairs of false ribs. So there are 3 pairs of false ribs which gets connected with the cartilage. Can you tell me what is the name of the cartilage? It's hyaline cartilage. And what is the looks of this hyaline cartilage? They look like glass. Fine. So they are all a bit of transparency is there. So these are all hyaline cartilage. Next, come down to the next one, which is called as floating ribs. Floating ribs means what? By the name itself, it suggests that it is going to start from T11 and T12, but they are never going to join. So they are going to remain in a floating condition. They float, and while they float, they cover, because of the function of these bones are protective in action. So the function is protective. So what they protect? They protect the kidneys. At both the sides, the floating ribs are going to protect the kidneys. So that is floating. So how many pairs? 2 pairs. 2 pairs of floating ribs. So in total, 7 plus 3 plus 2, there are 10 pairs of, not 10, 12 pairs. 12 pairs of ribs are present. So 12 pairs means 12 into 2 is equal to 24, and only one sternum is there, that is 24 plus 1. So in total, the thorax is having 25 bones. So if you just add these 3, that means if you add these 3, thorax, what we call them 26 and 29, in total they make 80 bones. They make 80 bones in the axial skeletal system. Clear? When we talk about appendicular skeletal system, we talk about girdles. And what are girdles? Girdles. The first one is girdle. So let's talk about girdle. Girdles are 2 types. One is pectoral girdle, and one is pelvic girdle. When we talk about pectoral girdle, there are 2 of the bones like this. Pectoral girdle contains the first one called clavicle, and the second one is called scapula. What is clavicle? Clavicle are also called as collarbone. They are also called as collarbone. That means this is the collarbone, this is the collarbone. Okay? And scapula is a triangular shaped bone. It's a triangular shaped bone at the back. So there are 2 scapula for 2 hands and 2 clavicle for both the hands. So in total, the pectoral bone is having 4 bones. But when we talk about pelvic girdle, so pelvic girdle contains 3 of the bones. This is called ilium. This is ischium. and this one is pubis. Ilium, ischium, and pubis. These three together makes one bone for one leg, and these three, ilium, ischium, and pubis, makes one bone for another leg. So in pelvic girdle, we have got two bones, and this is the particular femur. Tushar, tell me, what is the cavity present? What is the cavity? Acetabulum cavity. This cavity where the head of the femur articulates. The cavity where the head of the femur articulates, we call that cavity as acetabulum cavity. But in case of hand, this is glenoid cavity. Very good. And what is present inside the cavity? A fluid. What is the name of the fluid? Synovial fluid. Synovial fluid. And this synovial fluid, it is by the help of this synovial fluid only we can call them as synovial joints or freely movable joints So 4 plus 2, 6 girdles are there in the appendicular skeletal system. In appendicular skeletal system, there are 6 girdles present. When we talk about limbs, that means 120 minus 6 means 126 minus 6 means 20 bones. 120 bones are there in the limbs. And when we talk about limbs, we can classify limbs into two. One is forelimb, one is forelimb, and is hind limb. Okay. Now let's talk about the forelimb.
Sir,
Yes.
if the synovial fluid in some person suddenly starts to disappear,
Yes.
then what would be the treatment or?
No, there's no treatment. Why? Because once synovial fluid goes off, there's no other treatment left. Why? Because synovial fluid, is not again. It never gets formed again. The two things between the two bones. One is the synovial fluid, and the other one is cartilage. Once cartilage gets shred off, it never again can be. It never gets. You cannot have cartilage cells forming in every time, and that is why right now there has been a concept called metal joints. So this complete knee joint replacement. What happens? The whole bone is being cut, and inside that leftover bone, inside this leftover bone, a metal structure is being inserted. A metal structure is being inserted with a ball. Fine, this is a completely metal. And this is called a knee bone replacement. Fine. So, this concept has come from this concept. Why? Because cartilage once gets shed off, it never returns back. It never gets formed again. Neither synovial fluid. So, forelimbs, when we talk about forelimbs are, the first bone of the forelimb is humerus. It is humerus bone. And humerus, there is only one bone in humerus. Then there is this particular radius and ulna. This is radius and this one is ulna. So mind you, in ulna there is a process called olecranon process. There is a process called olecranon process present inside ulna. So this is radius, this is ulna. This is only one bone. Ulna is one bone, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 bones called carpals. 8 bones called carpals. So there are 8 bones called carpals. And then you can see there is a metacarpal, which is extension of the carpal. There are 5 bones called extension of the carpal. And this is called metacarpal. This is called metacarpal. How many of the bones are there? 5 bones are there. 5 bones are there. Fine. 5 bones are there. And then these are the 2 phalanges of the thumb. There are 2 phalanges of the thumb. So from this to this is a metacarpal, and there are 2 bones which are called phalanges. So in the thumb there are 2 bones. The thumb in medical terminology, it is called as pollex. It's called as pollex. In case of legs, the greater toe is called hallux. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So in total, if you count 4 into 3, 12 plus 2, 14. So phalanges number are 14 in number. Phalanges, 14. If you count 14 plus 5, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 8, 30 bones are there in one hand. Into 2, it makes 60 bones in the forelimbs. It makes 60 bones in the forelimbs. Any issues? So this is about forelimb. Fine? Okay. Now, the next one. So let me tell you, because over here we are not going to talk about the joints. What kind of joint is between radius and ulna? Who will tell me? Between humerus and radius and ulna, there is a freely movable joint. We call this joint as, what is this joint called? Hinge joint. It's getting stuck over here. 90 degree. Fine, it's a hinge joint. Even in your knee joint, that is also a hinge joint. And tell me, the joint between radius and ulna, fixed joint. The joint between radius and ulna is fixed joint. Mind you, it's very, very important. So if you say, sir, I'm being able to move it, then you are not moving it. As a whole, these two are fixed. Forelimbs. Next, come down to hind limb. Hind limbs. So when we talk about hind limbs, this is what? This is femur. This is femur. We call it as the longest bone. Femur is the longest bone. And then this tibia and fibula. Tibia. This one is tibia and this one is fibula. And then there are 7 bones over here, which are called as tarsals. 7 bones are there, which are called tarsals. 7 bones are there. And from tarsals, what comes out is the metatarsal. So 5 of them from each finger, 5 of them, and these are called metatarsals. Metatarsals. So metatarsals are 5 of them. Okay, 5 of them. And then for greater toe, there are 2 of them. Otherwise, all of them are having 3 of the phalanges. So 3 of the phalanges together makes it what? 14 bones are there in phalanges. 14 plus 5, 19, 20, 21, 22 plus 7, 29. And 1 bone is over here, which is called as patella. Patella is also called as kneecap, knee joint or kneecap. We call it kneecap. This is only one of them called patella. Tell me, Tushar, what is so very special about patella? Sesamoid bone. Very good. It's a type of bone which is called sesamoid bone. And what is sesamoid bone? The bone which has been modification of sesamoid. Sesamoid bone. The bone which has been a modification of tendon. So basically, this patella was tendon initially, and then it got calcified to make the bone called patella. To make the bone called patella. Fine. So these are hind limbs. So just find out how many bones are them. 30 bones are there in one legs. 30 into 2 makes 60 bones. So 60 bones are there in hind limbs. So if you talk about this total bones, so 60 plus 60, there's a 60 bones in hind limb and forelimb and hind limb 60. 120 plus 6, 126. That makes 206 bones in the skeletal system. So in your, from this topic called structural organizations, that's what we can talk about the bones basically. Fine. Air bhetore depth jete gele amader oi chapter jete hoy movement and locomotion. When you talk about the processes, olecranon process, acromion process. Can you tell me where acromion process is present? Yes. Very good. Acromion process are present in scapula. So what is the process called? Acromion. Acromion process is present inside scapula. So it's very, very important. Fine. Okay. Just, yes, my live class students, you can answer me. The process which is present inside the bone, and the name of the process is odontoid process. Tell me, comment me in the comment section. Fine. Odontoid process. Where is it present? So we have talked about olecranon, then we have talked about acromion, another process called odontoid. There's another process called any other xiphoid process is there in xiphy sternum. That is inside sternum. At the base of the sternum there is a xiphoid process. Any other process? Coracoid process. Just find it out. Coracoid. Yeah. So these are the different types of bones we have talked about. Fine. Okay, before we get into the next level, just have a look. I think this part we need to talk about. The difference between red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow inside bones. Yellow bone marrow and red bone marrow means what? Red bone marrow. Red colored due to the erythrocytes. Active vascular tissues, mind you, in the long bone. What is a vascular tissue means? They have got blood vessels. Yellow colored due to the production of what? Adipocytes. Inactive vascular tissues. So they are inactive vascular tissues in the long bones. So this is about yellow bone marrow. They have got, in red bone marrow, they have got few fat cells and has more amount of fat cells in yellow bone marrow. Produces blood corpuscles, that is synthesis of red blood corpuscles, and they produces blood corpuscles in emergency. During fetal life and at birth, it occurs throughout the skeleton. It occurs throughout the skeleton. With aged red bone marrow is gradually replaced in the long bones by yellow bone marrow. So with age, the red bone marrow is replaced by long bone marrow or yellow bone marrow. Clear? So that's the difference between red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. When we talk about the difference between bone and cartilage, inside bone there is a protein called ossin. We have talked about this. Matrix is composed of a tough, inflexible material, that is ossin. And in case of cartilage, it is what? Chondrine. It is made of what? Chondrine. And that is bit flexible. Matrix is always impregnated with calcium. Matrix contains what? Calcium salts. But over here, they are free of impregnated with calcium salts. But calcium salts are there only in case of calcified cartilage. There is only one cartilage that last day we talked about. That is calcified cartilage, which contains chondroitin salts. Calcium salts, okay? Bone cells lie in the lacunae singly. Cartilage cells lie in the lacunae singly or in groups of 2 or 4. Osteocytes are irregular and give off branching processes in the developing bone. Chondroblasts are oval and devoid of processes. Lacunae give off caniculi, lac canaliculi. There are outer and inner layers of special bones forming cells, the osteoblasts, that produce new osteocytes. So what is the function of osteoblasts? They are nourishing cells and also they form new cells. Osteoblast cells. They can form new cells called osteocytes. We secrete new lamellae of matrix. There are no special cartilage forming cells. Say that. See the difference. There's no special cartilage forming cells. Cartilage grows by division of all chondroblasts. They grow by division of all chondroblasts. Matrix occurs largely in concentric lamellae and matrix occurs in a homogeneous mass. Bone is highly vascular. Cartilage is non-vascular. That's the major difference between cartilage and bone. That's a major difference between cartilage and bone. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good.
I want to take permission from you
Yeah.
to beat one of your students. Sir, I also want, because from that time she is beating me, that's my kid. Want to kill me also.
Bone may have bone marrow at the center. No such tissue is present. No such tissue is present. Fine.
So it's
Blood plasma and blood serum. Blood plasma and blood serum. Fluid portion of blood in the form of matrix, that is fluid blood corpuscles. So what is there in the blood plasma? The fluid portion of the blood in the form of matrix, that is fluid blood corpuscles. In blood serum, fluid collected after clot retraction. See, what is blood serum? So after the blood has got clot, there is some fluid structure and those structure are serum. It has fibrinogen and other clotting materials. It has fibrinogen, it's a protein, and other clotting materials. But serum does not have all this. Fine? It takes part in the blood clotting, does not take part in blood clotting. It is straw-colored clear fluid. It is a pale yellow color. It's a pale yellow color. That's the difference between blood plasma and blood serum. Fine? Now, I think we have missed this, and that's why I thought to give it to you. Types of anemia. Fine. So there are microcytic anemia, which talks about deficiency of iron. Megaloblastic anemia, it occurs due to folic acid and vitamin B12. Pernicious anemia, only due to vitamin B12. Hemorrhagic anemia, excessive bleeding occurs, and then there can be anemia. Hemolytic anemia, you already know, that is hemolysis, rupture of RBCs. Aplastic anemia, destruction of bone marrow is very important. If there is a destruction in the bone marrow, they can lead into the anemia, which is called aplastic anemia. Nutritional anemia means inadequate food. Inadequate food. Sickle cell anemia, it occurs due to gene mutation. Thalassemia occurs due to gene mutation. Septicemia, you know, is a blood poisoning. The blood poisoning can also decrease the hemoglobin levels. Fine. Have we talked about that under blood? Okay. Now. Okay. 13 coagulating factors. 13 coagulating factors. Okay. 13 coagulating factors. So when we talk about the 13 coagulating factors, it was given by Macfarlane. Okay, given by Macfarlane. The 13 coagulating factors, if you remember, we have talked about. That is, the first one is fibrinogen, prothrombin, thromboplastin, calcium ion, proaxillerin, then accellerin. The proaxillerin is also called as labile factor. Accellerin, then comes SPCA, serum plasma thromboplastin conversion accelerator. SPCA, serum prothrombin conversion accelerator, SPCA, is also called as stable factor. Then the 8th one is called anti-hemophilic factor A. Anti-hemophilic factor A. The 9th one is anti-hemophilic factor B, which is also called as Christmas factor. And there's another term for that is plasma thromboplastin component, PTC. Plasma thromboplastin component, you can see over there. Okay. Then 10th is Stewart-Farr factor, plasma thromboplastin antecedent, PTA, Hageman factor 12th, and fibrin stabilizing factor 13th. I think last day we talked about all this. Fine? Okay. Lymph. What is lymph? When we talk about lymph, what comes in our mind? Name a particular worm-originated disease which is related with lymph. Filariasis, elephantiasis. So elephantiasis, that is filariasis. So when we talk about lymph, it is an interstitial fluid, tissue fluid present between the cells of a tissue. Exchange of metabolites, gases, and waste products takes place through the fluid. This fluid is contained in tiny tubes called lymph vessels or lymph capillaries or lymph nodes. And fluid is now called as lymph. Its composition is just like plasma, except, what is that? It lacks RBC. It lacks RBC and large plasma proteins. Lymph returns to the blood circulation at the level of subclavian vein present below the clavicle bone. Subclavian. So from heart, it moves towards what? The subclavian vein moves towards your hands, to your arms. If the formation of lymph exceeds the rate of its return to the blood, then edema occurs. Edema is swelling of tissues through increase of its tissue fluid volume. So what is the main purpose of lymph? The main purpose of lymph is to help in protection because it contains what? It is rich with WBC only. It's not having RBC. It's rich with WBC, lymphocytes. Lymph means lymphocytes. Fine. তাহলে ব্লাড কে ছাঁকনি করলে কি পাওয়া যাবে? ব্লাড কে ছাঁকলে কি পাওয়া যাবে? লিম্ফ পাওয়া যাবে. Fine. That is the point. Okay. Next.
Third, nowadays panic attacks are normal. যখন যার হচ্ছে বোঝাচ্ছে হঠাৎ করে panic attack হয়ে যায়.
হ্যাঁ, because nowadays you are not prepared for all this panic because you are not being given this this type of not stimulation. You don't get to see all this in your day-to-day life. But think about your parents. They don't have panic attacks. Means what? They're used to it. Good. Functions of lymph. Maintains balance of blood and tissue fluid. Maintains balance between blood and tissue fluid. It adds lymphocytes produced by lymph nodes. Spleen. The largest lymphatic organ is what? The largest lymphatic organ is spleen. Thymus. For the release of antibodies. We know the antibodies are produced from the lymph, from the lymphatic organs. Some waste products are carried by it into the blood. Fat is absorbed in the intestine by lymph as chylomicron of fat droplets. Remember, inside villi, lacteals were present. Fine, these are blood vessels. and they are lacteals also. And the lacteals, they take up the the fat, and that is also a part of the lymph. Plasma proteins and some other macromolecules synthesized by liver enter into the blood through lymph. It destroys the invading microorganisms and foreign particles in the lymph nodes. What are the primary lymph nodes? You tell me. What are the primary lymph nodes? And name some secondary lymphoid organs. Peyer's patches in intestine. Then tonsil, vermiform appendix, malt, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, galt, gut associated lymphoid tissue, gut associated lymphoid tissue. These are all what secondary one. I'm primary, thymus and bone marrow. Very good. Yes. কি? No. Blood and lymph. RBCs are present inside blood, and over here in the lymphs, RBCs are absent. RBCs are absent. WBC is less. Neutrophils most numerous. WBC are less in case of blood, but see, WBC are more inside lymph. Soluble proteins are more than insoluble proteins. Insoluble proteins are more than soluble proteins. Nutrients and oxygen comparatively more. Nutrients and oxygen comparatively less. Amount of carbon dioxide and metabolic waste normal, but the amount of this is much more in case of lymph. It is red in color. It is colorless. Hemoglobin, due to what? Due to hemoglobin presence. Circulation starts from the heart and flowing through the arteries, capillaries and veins returns back to the heart. What about them? Circulation starts from the tissue spaces and flowing through the lymphatic capillaries and vessels enters the subclavian veins. It carries materials towards and away from the tissue, thereafter acts as vehicle. What about them? It transfers materials from the blood to the body cells and vice versa. Therefore, acts as a middleman. So what is lymph? Lymph is also called as a middleman. Lymph is also called as a middleman. Let us solve some questions. Let us solve some questions. Okay.
So these questions are available later.
Yeah. I'm going to send this. Let us solve some questions. Again, after solving 3 to 5 questions, we are going to come back. Tell me. Inner lining of vagina is composed of.
I know I'm too much funny. Wanna join?
Inner lining of vagina is composed of stratified ciliated. It's not going to be ciliated. It's not going to be ciliated because there's no function of any movement of something. Cuboidal epithelium, simple squamous and stratified squamous. That is stratified squamous only because there is a wear and tear inside vagina. Stratified squamous. So basically they are squamous, but there are many layers. Stratified. Come on over here. Next question. Secretory part of the sweat gland is composed of. Secretory part of sweat gland. Whenever we talk about gland, what should come in our mind? Glands are lined by cuboidal epithelium. So the answer is going to be cuboidal epithelium. So whenever we talk about ducts or glands, they're lined by cuboidal epithelium. Also, when we talk about cuboidal epithelium, what should come in your mind is about gonads, testis and ovary. The jugular epithelium is made up of gonads. Very good, Haversian canal. Longitudinal channels of bone are called as Haversian canal. Glass-like cartilage, just now we have talked about that. Hyaline cartilage is glass-like cartilage. Very good.
So I have a question. Why is only glass-like?
Why? I told you that is they are transparent.
So she is asking that.
No. Not that transparent that you can see. See over. Volkmann's canal interconnects.
No.
Where is the answer? Haversian canal, bone marrow, third and fourth ventricle. You know ventricles of the brain? Tell me the name of the ventricles of the brain. Third and fourth ventricles of the brain. This is spinal cord. This is spinal cord. Tell me there are four ventricles. This is wrong. 1, 2. This is 3. This is fourth ventricle. Tell me. Do you remember it? The two lateral ventricles, 1 and 2 lateral ventricles are connected with the third with a foramen. Very good. Foramen of Monroe. Foramen of Monroe. Third is connected with the fourth by another foramen. Good. What is the other term for that?
Aqueduct of Sylvius.
Good. Foramen of Iter. Foramen of Iter. They are also called as aqueduct. They are also Sylvius. Aqueduct of Sylvius. Very good. Next. Muscles are connected to bone by means of. Muscles are connected to bone. BTM. है ना? BTM. This is how you have to remember it. Bone is connected with muscles by tendon. So tendon connects. So tendon. Okay. Our heart consists of. Do you want me to go with the muscles portion? I'm here to cover muscle portion. Come on. Do you want me? So answer this. Think over. Take time. Our heart consists of epithelial, connective, muscular, neural.
Connective, neural. 2, 3, and 4. I thought.
Clear? Very good.
As it is made out of muscles, so muscular tissue.
Neural tissue
It is
definitely.
connected, so connective and neural.
Which part? Neural means the heart is connected with which part of the nervous system? Come on, sympathetic, parasympathetic. The increases, this reduces the heart rate. Vagus nerve. Okay. Formation of cartilaginous bone involves. Just have a look. Bony matter by osteoblast and reabsorption by chondroclasts. Reabsorption by chondroclasts.
I think 3.
Deposition of bony matter by osteoclast. Deposition by class. Class is destroyer. No. The answer is A. The answer is A. Tell me. Major inorganic components of bone. Calcium phosphate. Supportive connective tissue means cartilage and bone. Intervertebral discs are composed of. Lastly, we talked about that under cartilage. Intervertebral disc. There's only one example. White fibers, elastic. It is going to be intervertebral discs are composed of white fibers. White fibers. Mast cell secretes. Mast cell secretes. It secretes heparin. It secretes histamine, which is vasodilator. It secretes serotonin, which is a vasoconstrictor. All of this is answer. All of this answer. Cells of connective tissue produces by. Cells of connective tissue produced by. Whenever we talk about connective tissue, what should come in your mind? Mesenchymal cells. Answer is neuroglia. We have not talked about that. So let's. Chondrin, tell me.
Six sulfate
Chondrin is composed of. The spelling is wrong. CHON. Chondrin.
three.
Yes, very good. Chondroitin 6-sulfate and hyaluronic acid. Fine. Chondrin is made up of chondroitin 6-sulfate and hyaluronic acid. Tell me, if introduced into the bloodstream, would cause coagulation of blood at the site of its introduction? It's a very close call. Yes, what is the answer going to be? All of them are equally likely to be possible. No, answer is thromboplastin. Thromboplastin. Tell me, thromboplastin is in that Macfarlane cascade effect. Tell me, what is the sequence of that? What is the sequence of thromboplastin? Third one. Fibrinogen first, second, third. Examination of blood by a readout.
Examination of blood of a person suspected of having anemia shows large immature nucleated erythrocytes without hemoglobin. Supplementing his diet with which of the following is likely to alleviate his symptoms? Option 2.
Iron compounds.
Yes. Question clear? Examination of blood of a person suspected of having anemia. Anemia shows large immature nucleated erythrocytes without hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin produce করার জন্য iron লাগবে।
Iron লাগবে? আচ্ছা। আটা কি দিয়েছে? Complete anemia having large immature nucleated RBC. That means they are immature RBCs. So to make RBC into mature RBC, you need folic acid. You need folic acid and vitamin B12.
I say it's an anticoagulant.
So folic acid and cobalamin. Okay, let's come. Clear? Let's come into muscles and neurons. That will complete this topic about tissues.
So what was the question?
We are going to talk about neuroglia. So better first learn it, then we're going to solve it. Yes. About muscles. Yes. About muscles. Yes.
So she's pregnant. I don't know.
Okay. Difference between striated. So what is the study of muscles called? What is the study of muscles called? Myology. The study of muscle is called myology. It is also called as sarcology. Fine. Now there are three different types of muscles we already know. The first one is skeletal or striated. The second one is non-striated or smooth, and the third one is cardiac. Now, striated means what? So we can also call them as voluntary muscles. That means what? We can move those muscles. The muscles movements is completely under our will. Number one. Number two, the muscles which are connected with the skeletal muscles. So the muscles which are connected with the skeleton are voluntary, number one, and they are also called as skeletal muscles. Why? Because they are connected with the bone. So present in limbs, body walls, tongue, and beginning of the esophagus. Non-striated present in the esophagus, urogenital tract, iris of eyes. They are smooth muscles, involuntary muscles. And cardiac muscles are present in the wall of heart, pulmonary veins, and superior vena cava. They are cylindrical, basically they are cylindrical and multinucleated, mind you. So they have got stripes, they are cylindrical and multinucleated. What about them? They are spindle-shaped. Smooth muscles are having tapering ends. Tell me the name of this cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is called as sarcoplasm. Sarcoplasm, very good. Sarcoplasm. What is the outer membrane of this muscle cell called? Sarcolemma. Inside these muscles, they have got a reticulum. What kind of reticulum? Endoplasmic or sarcoplasmic? So both of them are right. They have got sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, spindle shaped, but in case of cardiac, they are also cylindrical, but they are branched. The cylindrical and branched. They have got intercalated disc. Fine, it's there, I think, somewhere. You're going to find it. Okay. The fibers are unbranched, unbranched, branched. Multinucleated, uninucleated, uninucleated. Light and dark bands present. Faint light and dark bands present, but no bands present. And that's why they are non-striated. Nerve supply from central nervous system. Nerve supply from autonomic nervous system. Autonomic means what? Automatic. Autonomic nervous system, visceral nervous system. And nerve supply from the brain and both of them together. Very rapid contraction, slow contraction, rapid contraction in the heart muscles. They soon get fatigued. Why? Because their refractive period is very less. They do not get fatigued and they never get fatigued. Cardiac muscles never gets fatigued. Why? Because they have got the longest refractory period. What is refractory period? Because the moment the muscles contracts, it loses ATP. It takes up ATP. That means ATP is gone. But to regain the ATP, these muscles, skeletal muscles, they have got a very least refractory period. That means they are going to get fatigued sooner, but they have got the longest refractory period. Fine. Voluntary muscles, they are involuntary, and no oblique bridges and intercalated disc absent. See, intercalated disc is present. Intercalated disc is present inside cardiac muscles. So this is very important about muscles. In this chapter, this is the part of the muscles that we are going to study. Rest we are going to study in locomotion and movement. We are going to go in depth of actin, how it looks like, myosin, how it looks like, what a thick band, thin band, what are troponin, tropomyosin, myofibrils, fascia. Okay, let's come into nervous system. Nervous system, components of nervous systems, they are neuron and supporting cells. Mind you, in Neet you will be getting questions from supporting cells. Supporting cells are very important in Neet. Supporting cells are very much important in Neet. Neuron divided into cell body and neurites. Neurites contains axon and dendrites. And cell body, cytosol of soma. Supporting cells, they are present where? Inside the central nervous system. Inside the central nervous system. So they are seen, supporting cells are three different types. What are they? One is neuroglia, ependymal cells, and neurosecretory cells. Neurosecretory cells. You tell me, Tushar, neurosecretory cells you have got in nervous system, in the endocrine system. Do you remember the figure in your book called hypothalamus, anterior pituitary gland? Find their neurosecretory cells present. Okay. So neurons, there are two different types of neurons. One, they have got myelin sheath on the axon. Myelin sheath acts as an insulator. They are made up of a derived type of fats called sphingomyelin. Not derived. Sphingomyelin is a conjugate one. Sphingomyelin. Conjugate fat. Fine. And this is non-myelinate, that means they are not having any myelin sheath. So if there is myelin sheath present, what is the gap called? The portion where the myelin sheath comes in contact with the axolemma. We call this point as nodes of Ranvier. So definitely they are going to have nodes of Ranvier. We'll talk nodes of Ranvier present. Okay. So myelin nerve, medullary sheath is present. No medullary sheath. Appear in white color. Appear in gray color. Collateral nerve fibers are present. Collateral nerve fibers are absent. Generally present in white matter. Present in autonomic nerves. Fine. So they are present in white matter of brain and spinal cord and the cranial and spinal nerves. They carry impulses faster than the non-myelinated. Fine. And how many times faster? 50 times approximately. 50 times faster. Types of neuron on the basis of functions. Sensory, motor or mixed. They can be sensory, motor or mixed. Remember, Upta Fagua, we have talked about 12 cranial nerves. 12 cranial nerves. Fine. We have talked about 12 cranial nerves. Just to tell you this. Upta Fagua. Upta Fagua. Olfactory, optic, oculomotor, pathetic, trigeminal, abducens, facial, auditory, glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory spinal, hypoglossal. These are the 12 of them. And some say money matters. Money matters. But my brother says says big books matter more. Matter. So what is this? The first cranial nerve, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. So there are 12 cranial nerves. The first one, olfactory, is some for sensory in action. Optic, sensory. Oculomotor, motor. Pathodic, motor. Trigeminal, both, mixed. This is what? Abducens, motor. Facial, both. Auditory, sensory. Glossopharyngeal, both. Vagus, both. Accessory spinal, matter, motor. And then hypoglossal, motor. So how many of them are mixed? It is 5, 7, 5, 7. 7 means 7 is both. 9 and 10. 5, 7, 9 and 10 are mixed. 5, 7, 9, 10 are mixed. Fine, so these are both. So neurons, they can be mixed, they can be sensory, they can be motor. Okay. Okay, let's come back over here. And the structure, we can classify them into multipolar, bipolar, unipolar, and pseudo-unipolar or non-unipolar. Let's have a look. On the basis of neurons, motor, sensory, and mixed. Okay. But on the basis of structure, unipolar, when one axon extends from the cell body. This is unipolar. One axon extends from the cell body. Fine, this is cell body. Only one axon extends. Okay, bipolar, when one axon and one dendrite comes out from the soma. One axon and one cell body comes out from the soma. One dendrite, one axon and one dendrite. One axon and one dendrite comes out from the cell body. We call it bipolar. Example, retina. Example, bipolar is important. Only in retina you have got rod and cones. Okay, multipolar, when one axon and two or more dendrites. Only one axon, two or more dendrites from the cell body and divides into two. When one axon and two or more dendrites extend from the soma. Example, motor neurons and interneurons. Pseudo-unipolar, when one axon extends from the cell body and then divides into two. Pseudo is not there. Okay? And then non-polar, when all processes of the soma are equal and nerve impulses can be conducted in any direction. Neurons of coelentrates. Neurons of coelentrates. Remember, in neurons of coelentrates, they have got nerve net. Think about Hydra. They have got nerve net. So what kind of? They are non-polar. They are non-polar neurons. Clear? Supporting cells. Now, you can get questions from here. Neuroglia are special current tissues found in brain and spinal cord. They are divided into two major categories: macroglia and microglia. So the present where in the central nervous system. Brain and spinal cord makes central nervous system. Macroglia, they are larger, are two types: astrocytes and oligodendrocytes. Astrocytes are star-shaped that give off a number of processes. It provides physical and metabolic support. Astro means what? Star, aster. They may be divided into fibrous astrocytes seen in white matter of CNS and protoplasmic astrocytes seen in the gray matter of CNS. Oligodendrocytes, they are myelin-secreting cells. Very, very important. Oligodendrocytes, they are myelin-secreting cells, occur in both white and gray matter. They have a few fine processes. That's all about nerve. Just check it out. Ependymal, macroglia are smallest cells having short and fine processes. Fine. Ependymal cells forms a columnar epithelium that lines the ventricles. Ependymal, they line the ventricles of the brain. And neurosecretory cells acts as a endocrine cells. These release chemicals from their axons into the blood instead of into the synapses. Make this question. Let's make this question. One of the question was about neuroglia. About
Put it down. Write it down. Yes. This one.
neuroglia is.
Brain.
Oh God, liver, spleen, brain, thyroid. So easy.
Out of them.
Okay, so easy, huh? Okay. When it becomes easier for you, when you know everything.
Yeah.
Let's talk about I think there was some question from muscle.
Yeah, we did it all.
Yes, we have completed.
Ah.
Chalo, that's it then. Fine. So that was all about this one? No?
Yes.
We have done it?
Yep.
We have done it.
Yes.
Yes. That's all then. So this is about the animal tissues. Next day we are going to start with frog and we are going to complete frog. It's very tough to complete in a single day. But why we are going to be able to complete it? Because we know about human physiology. So we can easily relate with amphibian. Before we start with the next class, let me give you one idea. Do you remember that the class amphibia can be classified into how many orders? Class amphibia can be classified into how many orders? Yes. Class amphibia can be classified into how many orders? Class amphibia can be classified into mainly 3 orders. The first one, very good, Aneura, Apoda, and Urodela. So what is Aneura? Neura means what? Tail. So without tail. Without tail. Example, frog, toad. Apoda. Arm is without, poda means legs. So no legs. Example, Ichthyophis. And Urodela, they have got tailed amphibian. Example, Salamandra. Clear? So this is about amphibians. So we need to talk about frog, Rana tigrina. What is the largest frog?
That golden one, big one.
Rana Goliath. Rana Goliath.
Goliath. Yes.
Rana Goliath. Fine.
And the normal is Rana tigrina.
Rana tigrina. Very good. Fine. So we're going to talk about the frog. What is most important about frog is about the circulatory system. They have got 2 types of accessory openings. What are they? And sinus venosus and truncus arteriosus or conus arteriosus. We're going to talk about that. What is the location of it? Dorsally or ventrally? Just have a look. Into pore aaye. Next day we're going to talk about that. Okay? Chalo, that's it. What about the nucleus? What about the RBC? RBC is nucleated or non-nucleated? Shape? No. No? Oval? Oval shape. Yes. Okay, that's it for now then. Next day আমরা কি করব? We'll start with the frog and finish it off. Next day we are going to finish it off. Clear? So, that's all of it.
Sir, what type of finish it up? Like,